very quickly here, I've put in, this is basic boat marine finance. I've not looked at any other marine finances. First one, straight up there, I put 30,000 in over 3 years, right? Now, I'm looking to account whereupon that you've got 6 months staying in the your friend's place, all right? So you've got 6 months. You could put a deposit down onto that, or they'd just give you it straight away because it's not like a 120 grand mortgage house or anything like that. Anyway, put all those figures in there. If you were to buy a £30,000 boat, it will cost over that 3 years, which then becomes yours, all right, £940 a month. Yeah, so just alone on the money that you would use to rent an apartment, where the money's not yours, you could put it into a £30,000 boat, and at the end of 3 years, that £30,000 is yours, which is a big deposit to start off with before you start saving any money with your outgoing bills that living on the canal does. Now, when you live on the canal, like you say, you got your mate, yeah, he's got land that goes onto the canal. You moor at the end of there, yeah. So your marine charges or your mooring charges, what you have if you were to be static in a mooring, they can be anything around your area from about £800 a month to about £1,000 a month in the London area type of thing. But then again, that money is not yours. Yeah, this way, right? You've got a £30,000 boat at the end of 3 years because you're staying at the end of your mate's garden. So even the money that you save on mooring fees would buy the boat itself. So it's not basically cost you anything. And at the end of it, it's not cost you anything more than you'd be paying out with that £1,000 a month for a studio flat or whatever. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So in 3 years' time, you will have, if you work it right, £30,000 plus, because you can save on top of your savings with your bills and utility bills I'll go into and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you've already, just that move alone, forget the rest of the bills then, just this move alone, yeah, you have £30,000 at the end of 3 years if your mate will let you stay at the end of the garden. Yeah, because you sell your boat. You might get 28 for it then. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that's your deposit just on that alone. Yeah, and the depreciation from the 30 grand to 28 grand, you think, oh, I've lost 2 grand. No, you haven't, because this money is free money because it'd been given to somebody else. Also, if you take that into account as well, the amount of money you're saving your utility bills and all the rest of it, yeah, you've got that back anyway. So you'll be about 30 grand in pocket plus after 3 years, rather than give the money away to somebody who rent the place out or to moorings. Yeah, straight away that move has got you a deposit, folks. But anyway, I'll go into a bit of a vid about the savings you can do and the type of lifestyle or things you'd have to do at an end of a garden if you don't have a plug-in situation, like, you know, a plug into the mains like the moorings do. Yeah, or the things you might have to do because you might have to once a week travel down 3 mile up the blinking canal, yeah, to then get rid of all your blinking bits and bobs and restock up on your food or whatever, however you do it, yeah, however easy accessible it is to your mate's house, where you can park your cars, probably at your mate's house. Or, do you know what I'm saying? You've got, at the end of 3 years, you've got 30 grand in your pocket plus, just by doing that move. But anyway, I'll go into the rest of the video. I'll show you what you can get for 30 grand as a boat, yeah. Or I can show you, because Bradley, you're handy, DIYs and all the rest of it, yeah, kitchen building and all that going on, of course. I'll show you different ways where you can buy different levels of different boats, as long as your boat has a decent base plate. So it's got to be, you know, so you don't buy something that you're going to fork out money later on down the line. Just buy something that you can then even make profit on if you build it up from the state that you buy it. It depends how you want to work it, guys. You're already in profit with 30 grand doing that move at the end of your mate's garden. There's your deposit for your house. Big time. Apollo Duck, yeah? That's a well-known marine brokers, boat brokers, yeah, all that sort of stuff, yeah? I'm now going to look what you can get for 30 grand, yeah? This is the first one I've come across. Now, I'm looking at this. If I was looking at this, I think, right, I can paint, I can do this, I can paint this, I can paint that. Yeah, I can build a bit of this, build a bit of that, this, that, and the other. You know, like the look of everything and things like that. Yeah. So it's all easy to get back up to looking nice. Let's look in the site. I look at that. All it is just paint stuff. You paint this, you paint that. Yeah, there you go, looking nice. Likewise, change the AstroTurf, paint that round a bit. It looked nice. Piece of diddly. Inside there a bit. Okay, it's livable at the moment. All the rest of it, big time. Yeah, you can change that interior. Basically, you can change your boat as you go. And this is about like £5 grand cheaper. So you got extra £5 grand to spend on it, if you know what I mean. That you can, put into it each month as you live, and you build it, change it, bathroom it, kitchen it, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's all there for you. Because if you remember this is the 30 grand that you can save rather than pay somebody else. They give the money to somebody else, and it's like a free boat, isn't it? Yeah. All right, there. And if you do it right and all the rest of it, and bring it to the spec you want and all the rest of it, yeah, you can make a profit on it. Now you've got to look at the details when you look at the boat engine. The boat engine is a boat engine. It's like a car engine. Anything that's a couple of years old, anything go at, wrong with it. Different sort of boat engine you can have. You can have a boat engine like this. Yeah. Now they could probably kick out about anything £4 grand plus if they go complete kaput. Yeah, you'd obviously have to look into it and make sure it ticks over and works and stuff like that, right? But remember, you're in a void, let's say, of 30 grand that you've got, but you're not giving it away type of area. So plus you're still £5 grand up, so you can always have a little bit of money in the bank if you need to put a bit of work into the engine, depending if you need to or not. It all depends, right? But they're achievable with the skills that you've got, Bradley, with what is there, right? Paint all that up, looking nice. All that promises. Yeah, got all this going on. And you see the bit under the boat, the canal boat, is called the base plate. Now there's a certain millimetre. I think it's about 4mm is the finish you can be. Right now you have outcasts going on the boat. Every 2 years you've got to re-black it. You know that black paint you see. Well, it's like a protective that you put on the bottom of your boat and things like that. And you have anodes. Anodes are about 40 quid a pop, but you have to put on it about every 2 to 3 years. Yeah, so every 2 to 3 years you've got to save yourself about 500 quid just to keep it like MOT'd and all that sort of stuff. But I'll go into those figures a bit later or on another vid. Yeah, show you things like you need a license for one of them. It's about £100 a year, just so that they know it's safe whilst it floats and all that sort of stuff. But still, everything added together and all that sort of stuff, it's a massively cheaper way of living. But like I say, you're in that 30 grand bracket, whereupon it's not money that has cost you anything as such, because you've saved it by doing this move. Yeah, so it's all profit in it for you, all of it. Yeah, so that gives you an idea of the boat. I'll see if there's any more. Just here we have for 28,950. You've got a 50 foot. Now that 50 foot is what you call a long narrow boat. Yeah, that is the maximum you need if you want to go travelling on it and all around on your holidays and things like that, or wherever you want to go on your summer breaks. A 50 footer is the biggest one you want, because you're able to turn everywhere you need to go to. All right, anything bigger than that, you're then restricted. All right, why be restricted when you've got the freedom to do that if and when you want to? Now this is like a 50 footer, yeah, and that looks all very nice. You might want to like paint it, whatever, if you want to, or it might need a bit of polish type of thing. Yeah, that's right. That to get on with it, you might want to change it and whatever's, but to get on with it at first, just bang on, innit? Yeah, all that, dogs, toilets and stuff. Yeah, little cooking area and that, beds and stuff, and all the rest of it. Now, like I say, folks, Bradley, you can sort that kitchen out, your training, you know what I mean? And you could probably sell this as a profit if you do a good job on building it up and working it whilst you're living there for that 3-year period. Yeah, it's a livable, straight moving thing. Yeah, the price is 28,950 quid. And it's paid for itself. And if you were to do the changes on it, just say for instance this scenario, because you're only going to be floating, aren't you? Yeah? At the end of your mate's garden, you've got like, call it £1,050, you've got grand to start getting to work on it and all the rest of it. Yeah? And then at the end of the 3 years, if you do a good job, that £28,000 could end up going to 35 plus. So you make a profit on that. Yeah? The living expenses on these are so cheap because you can have solar paneling, yeah, which is free energy, things like that. People spend in winter, they spend about £25 a month on a couple of bags of coal. About £15 a bag of coal, and you might have two, because these things kick out the heat because you're in a small room and it heats it up. There you go, lovely and warm. Whilst you're living like that for 3 years, it's 30 grand in your pocket rather than somebody else's, and that's your deposit for your house. This is where it starts getting more interesting, because it's 25 grand only, right? It's a 30-footer. Now if you were to then find yourself having to moor up in loads of places or something, or you had to moor up anyway and not use your mate's land mooring, this is the cheapest boat prices of mooring length. Yeah, anything above 30 foot, it gets more expensive. So even if you were to be able to afford this on your grand a month as wages, and you had to moor as well, you could still afford it. Yeah, and then at the end of it, you just flog the boat. There's your deposit. Off you go. But this 30-footer would be the ideal length to keep if you had to go onto moorings. It's the cheapest one. It'd be £800 a month rather than £1,000 or whatever. You know, that type of difference. It's a bit cheaper. Likewise with the MOT certificate type thing. But this gives you an idea what it is. You only need a small engine to tick you over for your cooking, your heating, a bit of travelling you might have to do to drop your rubbish off or fill your water up a mile down the road or something. Down the canal. And plus, if you go on a bit of a weekend holiday, you bug off at the weekends with it, and it's a really, a lot of people go in the nice times. They go into what they call like weather pleasure cruises. You know, they sit there and tick over their jobs, and it's a lot cheaper for them. And then if they want a nice weekend or a long weekend, say up the canal and all that, look, it is a beautiful part of UK you see, because it's just surrounded by countryside and trees generally. There are some places that go through towns and that, but it's all there to discover. Yeah, it's ideal. And this would be the 30-footer. Yeah, 25 grand. There you go. And at the end of your 3 years, you've got your deposit. Nice one. Well, it's a nice one because it's in your pocket rather than somebody who owns a studio apartment and rent it off, or the mooring places anywhere. You've got a right good opportunity after 3 years, folks, Bradley and Sarah, just to use it as a business frame. Yeah, even if I didn't want to, even if I don't like bloody water, I don't like water. I'd bloody float on water for 3 years to get 30 grand because of your situation mates and all that sort of stuff, the money you could save. Yeah, rather than give it to somebody else, I'd float there for 3 years. I'd float there for 3 years, eat chips and egg.